Hi everyone, my name is Daisy.
Hi, my name is Ruth, and welcome back
To
the
the
Rooted and Ready podcast powered by NAYNET here at the
Kuza
studio. Oh my goodness, we're so excited.
Yeah, we're so excited. We have so
Wow.
much energy because even the man in studio today, the energy, I don't know what
Traditional
he did.
dancers
Really,
wakuje.
what's going on?
Traditional dancing.
Nimeona tu inaweza kaa cool.
It was-
Kuna ka grill fulani.
Oh, guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
And the guest that we have today, he's actually not a guest. He's been here
He's a
before.
return.
He's
Yeah.
anakuanga wa hii podcast.
Check,
Ni-
walinichuja hii
Ni
podcast.
venye
So walinichuja tu, jisemeni tu vizuri, walinichuja hata viti wameka tu sawa.
Just enough for us.
yeah, so he's not really a guest, but
Uh-huh.
we'd love to have him on to just have a conversation with him, and he's going to introduce himself.
Hello everyone.
Mhm.
Wacha njaribu kuwa kind. So my name is Odek. Yes, a
Mhm.
father,
Mhm.
a husband.
Wow.
Yes, and
Nice.
minister of the gospel.
Amen.
Gospel, yeah.
Mm,
Niliambiwa lazima useme gospel.
Gospel.
Sio, iende ifike nyumbani.
Karibu sana.
Thank you,
Oh,
thank
to
you.
have you.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Yeah.
Hata kama mjeni sawa tu, acha nisi. Hiyo ni ya baadaye.
Yeah. Baadaye, please,
Eh,
behind the tent, yeah. Not in
Mm.
front of
Matent.
people.
Matent, yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
So Daisy, tell us,
Yes.
what do we want this
Today
great
we
man to talk
I
about?
think we've had this conversation before, but we just want to build up on it, and
Mhm.
it's just about how we can. Pastor Odek is a minister of the gospel of
Mhm.
Jesus Christ and a
Mhm.
pastor
Mhm.
For young people.
for young people.
Young people.
Young
Okay.
people.
I'm young at heart.
You're young. Okay,
Mm.
sawa.
Mm.
Kwenda huko miaka.
I just-
I'm young at tusemi, young at heart.
Okay.
At heart, at heart.
We want to have a conversation about building safe spaces
Yeah.
in youth ministry for the
Wow.
youth themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're watching this as a youth leader.
Mm.
In whatever level you are, you don't even have to be the pastor,
Yeah.
but you lead a small group.
Mhm.
How do you ensure that that's a safe space? Because I think when you're watching this, we'll have already released our previous episode with Pastor Sassino. And one of the things he says is that we need to be able to feel safe,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
So we're asking, our question today is, how do we ensure that we are creating such spaces? Because the other thing that we learned is that we are the church. The solutions lie with
With
us.
us. True. True. True.
So how do we create those safe spaces for our youth? Pastor
Wow.
Odek, play.
Over to you.
Play. Hapa sasa kuna banta fulani inaendelea hapa nyuma ya tent. Safe spaces. I think there's so much that can be done. But the big question we need to ask ourselves as we're thinking about safe spaces, do we think of our young people? Are they first or do they become the last people we think of, even as a church? Because I hear this tendency a lot, and that's why maybe young people don't feel safe, is where everything is planned in terms of the adult service nini, alafu vijana wanaambiwa so wanakujaga tu kukaa. So already we've already dismissed them. So already the place where they need to feel safe is no longer safe for them.
Yeah.
And that's why the people who have managed to make it better, if you think about clubs, in fact, just this morning I was looking, my wife sent me a video of young guys who have created a space where they just go and listen to music. Now kunywi,
Yeah.
and this is secular music they're listening to,
Yeah.
and they're just chilling, and it's full.
Yeah.
Okay. And so one of the things we need to do is have a space where both the old and the young are together. Because Nona Ruth and a smile when I say both the young, because there's a place where the young people learn
Yeah.
from the older,
Yeah.
and there's a place where older are able to speak
Yeah.
to the younger.
True.
Okay. But it's not the young people voicing like ile wanazima
Yeah.
kila kitu, because there are things that they need to learn. But creating that safe space can only be done when one is able to be has created a relationship. I think one of the things I've struggled with, even as when I see youth pastors, youth ministers, is we tend to be the person, kuna mtu alisemaga, we are looking for to be senior pastors rather than being a pastor to these young people. And the young people can clearly tell. The moment you walk in like this, they clearly tell, huyu ako na sisi ama anatafuta position.
Yeah.
So at the end of that day, they are like, already, I can't trust this person. But the moment they know I am here for them, and I'm here for the long haul, discipleship, hizo vitu zote, going to their spaces. And I like one of my guys who trained me in youth ministry used to push us a lot by telling us, in fact every time angetupata kwa ofisi angetuuliza unafanya nini kwa ofisi, kazi yako si hapa. Okay, because young people can pretend or they can come up with masks on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Church is only 2 hours per week.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
where are these people spending time? If you go out where they are, one of the things you're doing is you're creating a relationship with them,
Yeah.
and you're building, and you've become that safe space for them,
True.
where they can clearly come and say this is what is happening, but also not removing it from the parents.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
because
Be the balance.
there should be a balance,
Yeah.
where you as a as a pastor, what you're actually trying to do is equip the parents, not take away the responsibility of the parent.
You're not the parent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I hear this especially young people wanasema vijana wangu wanafaa wakuji church uongeleshe.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you as a parent, what is your role? Okay, because my role ends on Sunday by the 2 hours tumemalizana, the rest goes back. But again, we need to look at the thing for safe spaces are created where there's love. Okay, where there's love.
Yeah.
If you look at scripture, everyone that God used was not perfect. Okay, but God turned their hearts to a place where he could call them his children. With these young people have different things. They're thinking, they're going through struggles and everything. We can meet them where they are, bring them closer to God. Our job is to actually just share the gospel with them and allow God to do the rest in their hearts and transform them.
That's amazing. And as you're talking, I remembered during the last advanced conference, we had some of your young people, and I know one of them came and was just telling me about their background, and first to celebrate you is that they just told me, even I'm not even a Christian, I'm from a different faith, but I just like the way this pastor, like how he embraces us, because he said that, and I said, oh, you're not. He's like, and you'd invited them, I think, to come and help arrange the seats and to do something. So I don't know where that place is of, they might have completely different ideologies, even the things that you stand for, they don't have what you stand for. But now he was coming from a different faith, coming to help us arrange a Christian event. But he said, oh, I just come because I like how, as in,
I like the space that this pastor has created.
Yeah, something like that. So maybe what would you advise the youth workers as they work with these young people, not to be like, because you're not believing what I believe, then you can't be in this mold. Yeah, so you have to do what I believe or we believe in this place to fit into this mold. Yeah.
I'm just thinking of nasema huu mse mfupi huyu alikuwa kwa Bible.
Nani alipanda mti?
Did you see that? Did you see that meme?
Waja do. But so if you think about it, if you think about it, Christ did not tell him go to a church. He told him, where do you live? Because I want to spend time with you.
Yeah.
He didn't ask him. The first conversation was, are you a believer?
Yeah, nothing.
He told him, I want to go to your house.
Can I come to your house?
Okay?
Yeah.
That's where we're going to have a meal. That one changed his life completely. Yeah. To a point he even gave back whatever he had stolen.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You can imagine the impact that it causes when we move church from the buildings we think about and we move where people are, because church is the people. So the moment we sit and wait and say, aule nikikuja fasting na kuuliza ni which are you born again? I've lost you.
Yeah. Kusha.
Okay? But let me walk this journey with you to a point where you can actually come and say, I actually want to receive Christ. I actually want to know who Christ is.
Yeah.
But I think I don't blame any youth minister.
Yeah.
It's because it's from what we know.
Yeah.
Okay.
True.
Like even before you went to church, you asked about, those things.
Yeah, those
okay.
questions.
So church ilikuwa tu ndio watu wameokoka, but the question is your church able to accommodate someone who's not born again? But in that light, their lives are transformed.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think there's danger when kwanza mko tu na watu kila mtu ameokoka. Like ni kama mtokagi nje kufanya ministry.
Okay.
Okay. Because it should be welcoming, where you're saying someone from outside can walk in and they actually find love and want to experience what you're experiencing. I remember a story of this guy who decided, so what he did, he's a pastor, but he decided to dress up as a guy who is homeless. So he went to different churches, I think different churches. And like the church he went to, I think ya kwanza, kila mtu alimpita. Kila mpaka unarushia mtu ile hey wewe nusinikaribie. Then he went to this church that he was picked. The first guy who met him asked him, are you hungry? took him in,
Yeah.
went to him, introduced him to people,
Yeah.
and they told him it was, and he was like, this is what the church should look like.
Yeah.
Okay, because already on that we are filthy when you think about it.
True.
Okay, the person who washes us is Christ.
Yeah.
It's not Odek.
Yeah.
It's Christ.
Yeah.
So I don't think it because someone is not born again, they're not welcome to church.
Yeah. Then,
Okay,
True.
they're welcome because God still loves them, and He wants them to experience how loving He is at the end of the day. So I think it's just the things that we've learned, or we need to relearn and see things differently, because. And I'm not saying that I've done it the right way.
Yeah.
And I think maybe again it's because the experiences I've gotten. And I think one of the young people once told me, it's how you are vulnerable with us. Okay.
Yeah.
You have become that safe space because I've not come in terms of showing them that I'm a perfect, like they have seen me. And they've heard me talking about my worst. They've seen me dealing with my kids. They've seen me dealing with my wife, and so they know this person is human.
Yeah.
It's just that the grace of God, like he's saved by grace.
Yeah.
Okay, so so that's how I look at it.
Wow. They've seen in your human nature.
Yeah, they're seeing
yeah.
in your humanity. So even when you teach them about the Jesus that saves, they're not. It's not just for them. They're saying, "Oh, but he saved my pastor as well." So probably it would work for me as well.
Yeah.
And these young people are opinionated. They can't, if they want, they'll tell you on your face.
Yeah.
Like, my friend, it makes sense.
I make sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Kwanza, and I realize if come on him to kufanya church too Sunday,
There's no
connection.
Yeah.
There's no relation, because every young person is looking for a place where they can connect. They're looking for, in fact, one of the things we say in church is, and we keep on asking ourselves, is the space for believe, then do you belong?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Believe, belong, then we say you become, then you're sent out. Okay, so that stage is we ask ourselves, are the people in our space belonging in this space? Are we in a space where if someone walks in, they'll feel, hey, I actually belong in this space? Okay, and because that's a big space, and when you're able to meet that, then you're able to talk about everything.
Yes.
You're able to invite, even go to the parents. And the other thing we did is we started visiting. Many people, or maybe many pastors, when you think about home visitation, you're just thinking about the adult.
Yeah.
Okay,
True,
I don't know
true.
if
It's
Yeah,
true.
it's
like
usually
when you do home
Yeah.
visitation there.
tunaendaga tu kuona
Oh,
adult.
yeah,
Wazazi.
there
Wazazi, hata si
Mm.
wazazi, so and so.
So exactly.
Okay, so we introduce visiting the young people.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And so what it did for us, it's every time we visited the young person, we'd actually meet the parents. And I've done it even from Nairobi. I've visited people in Kericho, from Nairobi to Kericho, Nakuru, like, because I know how the impact that causes on the kid's life.
Yeah.
And if you're saying that you want them to be the people who take up the next church to the next level and everything, but we're not showing them that by the you matter in the kingdom of God, then by the time they're adults, they will be out of church.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or they'll continue the same cycle of not caring.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hear people complaining, saying, hey, youth church amtoagi pesa. I'm like, yeah, if wanafanya kazi wapi? Like, yeah, akona vitu mingi, ile pocket money anapewa, akona girlfriend,
And don't you think
akona anatry kupeleka na movie, so hii pesa money for Jesus anakata tu kidogo kidogo so una get, but we are teaching them something, by us providing and giving them these things and not sidelining them. But when they grow up, because they'll be in those jobs, if you never cared for them, if you never gave them the space, then they will not come back to do the same.
True.
Yeah, and I remember hearing such a conversation, and they were saying, now that the youth church now is considered is where now you guys are earning even more than your parents. Why are you not giving more? Because there's that conversation going on. And I think what you said is actually the answer. When we were in our formative stages, when we were teenagers, when now we were getting into the job market, we were in campus, you didn't show enough care for me to feel, or for me to even want to come back.
Mulikuwa mnachukua kila kitu.
Yeah.
Kama service hata mnambonyea hata si lazima meet. Wacheni
And see, that's the problem you'd find. And I think you're one of the first few pastors I had you say that there's no main service and youth service. It's an adult service
and a young people service.
Because that's the demarcation, is that there is a main service.
The
so main service is where the people give the money. it's where the structures are built.
It's
but
where if kama base imechomeka inanunuliwa
For
same
the
day.
same day.
Same day.
Youth church wameimba wana keyboard
Nyingojeni.
for 1 year
Ngojeni.
mpaka wameanza fundraising. Nata
Pesa
wakifundraise
itapotea.
inaenda huko. Sasa unashinda huku tutasaidikia wapi?
And you see, those are some of the things that have created the church not to be the safe space.
Yeah.
Okay, because they have seen, and sadly, even the people who experience this are the ones doing the same thing to the
it's
generation.
spiral.
that-
That's what I'm
So
saying.
it's a cycle. Okay,
yeah.
so if we don't teach, and I remember one Pasi, so he was very like when it came to visitation for the young people, like this is a guy who mentored, who discipled. When a kid was in school, he would go to their prayer days.
Wow.
He would go to their sports day. When he was planting a church, these teenagers those years are now adults with families.
Yeah.
They're the ones who came to support the church because of the investment he put in them.
Lives.
Okay, and you see, even now, and I think one of the things youth pastors do as a mistake is you want to disciple someone's kid by yourself, and you're forgetting that they belong to a family. Okay, so and I think that's one of the places where we mess up. Rather than going, if you meet the parents, if they hear you with their kid, they will not fight you.
Yes.
Waitakuwaga naoni pastor mgani mnashinda naye. Okay, it will be like we know him, we have spent time with him, and they see it, they see the fruits and everything. And because even in churches, you know how unamwaga ukiusikia mtoto anasema nitakuwa pastor, kila mtu unaget. Sasa inamaanisha pia hata kutakuwa na youth pastors in the near future if you're not providing a space where these young people can be themselves.
Wow.
And I wanted to say, but I wanted to say it's that you said something that they will know when this is just a job to get to the next level.
Yeah.
I like that. That they know that you're here for the time so that you're promoted, that we are not your goal, we are not your priority. And they can tell that you're not their priority, that they are not your priority. And in them seeing that, they're just like, basi maliza.
Kuna mtu alikujaga akaniambia siku moja. Hey, when you're preaching in the adult service, yani unaka serious umefanya. Si hata si utuletei seriousness huku. Like, it's something they've read. They have
yes,
seen.
they've noticed.
Okay.
That when you're going there, you wear a suit.
But not suit zivaagi.
Lakini mimi niko na suit pastor, but I'm just saying, but even youth pastors, that's the
No, but nasema si eti hata haikuata eti story na eti kuvaa suti nini content wise.
Okay.
Like,
they can tell.
Yes, like huku unatulimit na content, huko unaenda eti unaget. So it challenged me. I was like, enyewe, that's because we think
what?
You know how when you're writing someone or kama unanini unakogati kuna eti naenda kupreach kwa youth service, so yao they need to understand this. These people wamesoma like wakona classes ngapi chemistry nini, afu unakuja kumwambia eti tuimbe wimbo ya Noah. Like, my friend, as in,
get serious.
let's read this thing. True. And I remember there's a time another argument showed up where someone was saying institutions are going out and reaching out, and they're like, you know, why are we behaving as if we know what is going out there? It's because we have the privilege of understanding or being born in a Christian family, that we think everyone should be a Christian. And I was like, okay, so kuna mtu alikuwa meagi na ameleta na juu. Nikaka hivi nikasema hii ni point ya kusikiza sasa yenyewe. Like how are we approaching ministry? How are we talking to these people? Are we giving them the content that we think they want? Or are we giving them the content that is actually in the Bible?
And I think one young person asked us one day, why are we answering questions they're not asking?
That's the thing.
We're busy answering questions. They didn't ask us the questions. They have different questions that we're not willing to address.
And that's the other danger with, again, safe space again for young people, is because we're always reactive.
Yeah.
As pastors. So tunangoja vitu zichemuke ndio tuko aya. Hao vijana wanabehaveaje tukuje. And yet
you make such a good elder uko na hiyo.
No. I think it's sitting in many elders. But
got the lingo.
But if you think about it, it's usually like we're reactive to things rather than thinking ahead. You know how you plan, you know, your work like in the next 5 years. We don't do research with youth ministry.
Yes, we
Yeah.
don't.
It's like things shock us.
Yeah.
Guy, hii imetokea.
Unaendaje?
Tunafanyaje?
Yeah.
And yet if we were actually listening or even sitting in and looking and
Yeah.
researching and all those things, would actually know when something is about to blow up. Would actually know. But so even the church now has become a place where people are reacting, and so how we're reacting also is not from a place of love. It's from a place of pointing fingers and condemning.
Yeah.
You know, nyinyi vijana, nyinyi,
Yeah.
mpaka they've had too much nyinyi. They don't see love in
There's
the
always
nyinyi.
disconnect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so many points, but the point for even research, one hope I like how they say
Yeah,
research
that
is
me
prophecy.
too.
Like it will come to like when you do research and you study, you don't need to wait for that prophetic one. It is in that research.
Yeah.
But I want also to ask about in this how we want the church to create a safe space. Some people say you can, especially when you're pulling in people who maybe don't know the gospel of Christ, and then they try to create things and activities that are like attract them in what they're doing. I don't know if you've ever had that thing, like if you do what the world does to bring them to church, you'll have to keep doing what the world does.
Like you have to keep on
doing it.
To
Yeah.
keep
So
them.
now where is the balance for now this youth worker who is trying all the activities and things? He's just seeing things, trends out there. He wants to do the trend in church because he thinks it will now bring in, especially now to create a safe space to bring in those who are not Christians, who aren't coming with their families, these young people who don't know of the gospel. So they're trying to see ways to bring them in. But then they're saying, okay, what if I do this? I'll have to keep doing this to keep them, and maybe it doesn't align to what
I think it's not how we win them. I don't think it's by the many things we do.
Yeah.
It's by staying true to the word of God.
Yes.
Okay? Because I think the danger we tunataka kudilute pia au kuongeza vitu kwa word ya God.
Yes.
Okay? Because if you look at this generation that we are serving now, is a generation that just wants, let's read the word.
Yeah, let's read the word.
Tusipige hizi story mingi. Tuongele ni nini. If you're talking about Genesis 1, you see how does it hizo vitu mingi. So sisi tunataka kuleta movie nini hizi vitu zote hapo hivi ndani to combine hapa activities. So by the time we're looking at, and the question is, at what point did we spend time in God's word? But you look at that in hivi. But how much activities did you do ni hivi? And so that's where even people burn out. Because you're trying to answer the question of, kuna mtu alisema kitu poa sana, like you're trying to do things that were on our time.
Yeah.
True,
because unaget, so atuja study hii because lilipata. And again, one pastor friend of mine said this and I laughed about it. He was like, the other problem we have nowadays is that we're looking for pastors, youth pastors who are young, okay, rather than looking for people who actually have the heart for the young people. Okay, so youth ministry is usually a startup for you to
get
huyo ametoka Bible school hatuna na hizi
wapi?
positions zingine zimeshikiliwa,
Anzie wapi?
hebu endo pale youth ministry. So it's not nini
Umeget, they have
the heart for the youth. They're just young.
So because they're young, unafeel wanaweza relate. But there are older people who actually have the heart for the young people.
True.
They can actually do more. And that's
True.
maybe that's the other challenge. Maybe we need to give back zile za wase. It's not just about you being young. Do you really have the passion for the young people you're serving?
And it's okay
if you don't pia ni sawa. You don't have to force, because I think sometimes we force. Unaonekana force relationship. Na unajua mse akutaki. Like umetuma sign zote ukajua je ifanyiki, lakini uko tu hapo ti labda hapa ndio nimeitwa, hujaitwa. I think it's just it's being honest, understanding also your passion and your calling. True. Okay, because even me, there's a time I struggled with it, but just understanding that by the way, kama imekukata na kama ni yako kimbia nayo. Do it to don't say ati after 5 years nataka kutoka niende place fulani. Ka God amekuita hapo, amekuita hapo.
Don't you think then one of the things that churches should do is that then, and I don't know how much senior pastors make, but I assume they make a lot.
Even me, I don't know.
Yeah. Let's assume.
Yeah.
Then, because so that it doesn't look like it's a career progression, because that's how it seems like. Then should we? This will sound so.
We have gone to another nini.
Yeah.
Hapa tumeenda kwa finances.
Because sometimes that's why it looks more lucrative, or it looks like a stepping stone. Ama it matters more.
It's because people have put the position senior pastor as the highest rank.
Exactly.
Okay, we forget that the future is not this. The future is the ones who are coming.
Yeah.
But I don't think we
So
understand
hapo ndio hata watu wanafaweke resources
A
zote.
lot,
In fact, one of my ninis is, and maybe ndi imeniumaga sana. I used to say hata usinilipe vizuri, but sort out the youth ministry budget.
give them the resources they
yeah.
need.
that they need.
Yeah.
Because if you give them these resources, even your church will see a difference.
True.
Okay, but if we nyonga everything tuko tu hapa youth ndo tunaweza toa hapa, then
Because programs zao tu ndio zuko cut.
bas. Like no one will ever say worship team ya adults ikatwe budget. But youth mnafanyaga nini huko?
Kwanza they meet inside a school somewhere.
It's just bad. But when thinking about it, it's just that people are the ones who've elevated those things, or it's something that has been there. In fact, when you say there are places when you say I like what there's a church doing, let me not mention to me, they're trying to change the word youth pastor to pastor in charge of young people.
Oh, pastor in charge. Okay.
So they are a pastor.
Yes.
They're just in
charge of young people, because again ukiweka hiyo nini ya youth pastor ni myang, so ukikuja wanakuambia na wewe kwani utakuwa senior siku gani? So because I have a friend of mine, she was a children's pastor, and then someone asked her, sasa utakuwa senior pastor lini? Bado uko children. Unaget, they don't see it as a as a ministry, like iko na hiyo una cause impact. In fact, the word is they don't see you causing impact. Okay,
but it is you that will come and tell when their child is misbehaving.
Yes.
Kwa nini mtoto wangu anafanya
so
hivi?
in fact, I might be chapwad by there are people, may I say this, it's a bad idea where people look at the youth pastors or children's pastors as people who are good for their children, but not good for them as a congregation.
Yeah.
Okay.
True.
It can make sense. Like you look at me and you say, you're good for my children. I can come and tell you all these things. But ikikam kwa we bado we ni kushikilia hapo.
Kwangu
hawezi. Yeah, if they're good for your child,
then they're like, you're not good for me. Like when ni mdogo weka hapo tu kwa.
But mtoto wako hello, my child. So it's sad that that's how people look at that ministry, and that's even the young people can clearly see it. Because they look at how you're treating the space that they call safe. The place that they call home. Not home in terms of like where they can come and express themselves. Okay? Sing just like you guys are doing in the adults church. Play just like you guys. You know how even sometimes mkitafuta labda mmekosa iten anda chapo. Mmekosa youth mtu kuimba kwa adults. Amwendagi kutafuta youth. Amwendagi kutafuta youth. Mnatafutaga nje. Because mna feel huyu hajafika. So mtoto akigrow ako like nangojea siku moja nikikuja huko, and that's why then we create celeb mentalities. Okay? Because they're always looking forward to the time people will recognize them when they come, because they never recognized me when I was young. So when I get there, they will know.
So now they're striving for that celeb instead of, oh my goodness, And
it is so layered.
It's so there's so many things I'm just like, oh, but Odek, we need him here again. But I think even the statement you said, like, how are you treating the space that I consider safe? If they just see like the parents and the like the adult church just treating kimalamala the space that now they are supposed to consider safe, and they,
because I like what I like even in our church, what we, because there's that fight where you'd come in and then unaambiwa hakuna meeting inakam, so youth watafute mahali pa ku practice. I told them that cannot happen. And we, in fact, even till we've agreed, no one goes there until these guys have practiced. Like it's a rule. Like let them know that this is their space. They hata kuja siku moja wanapata keyboard imetolewa, wanaambiwa ati nyinyi pigeni tu makofi. So and I think when we create that with the young people, a lot will change. We'll see more I like what people, there's a nini that was done and someone said I see more Gen Zs, millennials coming back to church. And I was like, awesome, that's good. But are we still doing church the same way we used to do church? Okay? and without thinking about removing the word of God,
Yeah.
but have we created spaces where this young person can hold your camera and you don't feel utanivunjia camera wewe? Sijui kama make sense. Like umempatia drums, uoni tu uko tu hapo anagongaje hizo toms unazigonga sana like trust. And that's one of the things that's lacking in our churches, where we don't trust the young people. And for the youth pastors, maybe it's time you start trusting the people you have, because these kids have gone to music schools. Okay, they're practicing. These kids have gone to, all those places that you have not gone to. They're more exposed than you.
Wow.
And the moment you bring them together, you'll see a very strong youth ministry growing.
Yeah. And it's also just to embrace the fact that you are not an end to yourself. So first of all, can you just relax?
And even just the aspect of stop being selfish.
Is that too?
Stop being selfish. Move from me to us doing things. Let's grow these young people. I don't know how many churches have young people in the youth going to preach in the adult service, and they're trusted that they can actually deliver the gospel. Okay, I don't know how many churches do that, because we are afraid that atanipatia nini ya maana. We don't look at them as people who God can use. We look at them as people who kaini tu hapa siku yenyu itafika. When will that day get there?
But don't you think it's also a problem with discipleship? You know you've not discipled them enough, so you're afraid that they'll go and embarrass you.
True, but trust them, let them embarrass you, then you walk together. Okay? So the young people look at me and they always like, Odek, we mbona unatutrust hivi sana? Because I'll be like, they'll come in with a problem. I'll be like, what do you think? I'm not giving you a solution. What do you think? What do you think we should do? Okay, then they'll be like, let me go think about it and come back to you with an answer. I've given you an opportunity to think of the ministry not as Odek's, but as our ministry. So you own the ministry. So by the time you're coming with a problem, you need to come with a solution. Like, this is how we've sorted it out. Even if it's preaching, one of the things I do, I push them to preach and tell them, there's a month I'll not preach. You guys will have to preach.
Wow.
Okay, and I have seen the growth. I've seen, because I never saw it in the church I grew up in. Ilikuwa unasema niko na desire ya kuserve Mungu, unamwakalia tu hiyo desire